Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. After federal government moves against Kanu's release, see what the court finally decided. After federal government moves against Kanu's release, see what the court finally decided. To my dear listeners, from wherever you listen from, please stay tuned as I read today's news. The application for a stay of execution of a court judgment that ordered the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, was heard by the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Monday, and the court decided to receive its judgment on the matter. The application was submitted by the federal government. Nnamdi Kanu is the man in charge of the indigenous people of Biafra. According to the declaration that was made by the judge presiding over the case, Arunat Sanami, the date on which the parties will be informed of the judgment will be communicated to the judicial system as soon as it is available. This will take place as soon as a date has been determined for the delivery of the verdict. During the oral argument for the case, the federal government informed the Court of Appeal that Kanu poses a threat to the nation's security and that he must remain in jail in order to ensure that peace can continue to exist in the country. This information was provided in order to ensure that the case would be heard. This was done in order to guarantee that Kanu will have no effect whatsoever on the outcome of the case. This material was supplied in order to ensure that the case would be addressed in its whole when it was being analyzed. This was accomplished by listening to all of the arguments that were made. In a motion for a stay of execution of the judgment delivered in favor of Kanu on October 13, the counsel for the federal government, David Casway, while arguing the motion, informed the appellate court that Kanu had previously demonstrated that he was a flight risk when he fled the country after being granted bail on the terrorism charges against him at the Federal High Court in Abuja. This was done in a motion for a stay of execution of the judgment delivered in favor of Kanu on October 13. My lords, our concern as well as the concern of the federal government is the threat that the release of Kanu poses to the security of this country, as well as the political, social and economic activities that take place within it. We share this worry with the federal government. If he is allowed to leave the nation after being released from detention, then we will not be able to have any kind of physical interaction with him. As a consequence of this, he requested that the judge impose a stay on the execution of the court judgment so that Kanu might continue to be held in custody until the United States Supreme Court issued its final decision regarding the appeal that had been earlier filed. However, the principal attorney for Kanu, Chief Michael Zekome San, stated that the military attacked Kanu's ancestral home in an illegal manner and that it required the grace of God for his client to avoid execution. He informed the court that the administration was in contempt of court for failing to obey the verdict that was handed down on October 13, and he was given a ruling of contempt. Ozekome said, contrary to the assertions made by the federal government that the only thing that could guarantee peace and calm over the entirety of the nation would be the release of his client, and that this would be the only thing that could do this. This would be true not only for the region known as the Southeast, but also for the rest of the country. The attorney representing Nnamdi Kanu made the following statement to the judge: "My lord, the action of the federal government in regard of Nnamdi Kanu is an insult, a slap in the face to this court. Your Majesty, our court has been dealt a severe blow," the judge said. He made the remark, "It is also an invitation to anarchy, and I sincerely asked this court to refuse the request of lack of a merit. In addition to that, it is open invitation to chaos." After listening to the claims made by both camps, Justice Sanami indicated that she would be withholding judgment and that the attorney will be informed when the verdict was ready to be rendered. Now I've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop